Hello, it's not possible to go too many days without reference to Nadine Dorries, or Nadine Dorries, I believe is the way she now wants to be known. Go Nads. I just despair of this. But there we are. Nadine says today in a tweet that Keir Starmer has got all the big calls wrong. She says he hasn't had an original thought or policy that on his grid. Well, the problem is he's not in power, Nadine. He's not in power, number one. And number two, actually, that's not right. He actually promoted the idea of a payment for electricity, which Rishi Sunak then adopted. He called it something slightly different, but that does seem to be a policy idea and original. So, this sort of tweet, it's aggressive and wrong, and I'm not greatly surprised. But you're not doing the Conservative Party or the country any favours by peddling misinformation. Actually, at this moment, instead of writing another aimless tweet, you should be getting on with the job that you are employed to do. And that would start with opening envelopes and writing the letters that would respond to people who have written to you. I know your gatekeepers are determined to keep me at bay, but really I think I cannot be the only one who is frustrated that he or she never actually gets a response. Now, let's have a look at some of these things. She says that Boris got everything right. He lifted COVID restrictions. He invested in the vaccine and the vaccine rollout, the furlough, unequivocal support for Ukraine, and then she slots in Rwanda at the end. I think there is no question that Sir Keir Starmer would have also unequivocal support for Ukraine. But you can't tweet these things and expect people will not respond. As for COVID, the huge number of COVID deaths, the vacillating, we don't know whether a Labour government would have done it any differently. This was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, I hope, and a terrifying ordeal for everybody. But what are we left with? At the moment, we're left with the highest inflation, the possibility of a winter recession, strikes, a rise in crime under a Conservative government. This is not what we expect and certainly not what we sign up for. Quite apart from a migration policy that saw thousands of pounds squandered on a plane that never took off, a policy that is actually widely condemned not only by Conservatives but by many other people, and a total of 0 asylum seekers actually deported, even if we accepted the spurious grounds on which that deportation would be based. And all of this is without any reference to the continued contempt for international law and sort of continued dodgy revelations, the most recent one being about Carrie Symonds, now Carrie Johnson, and the idea that Boris was going to give her a job in the Foreign Office, and then managed to suppress an article about this that was printed in early editions of the Times. I saw the article myself. I find it extraordinary. And in fact, I think it might be worth even talking about that article again, because the whole idea of it having been suppressed, apparently Number 10 did indeed telephone the Times. I don't for 1 minute imagine there was any censorship. Why would you need censorship if somebody can be persuaded to pull an article, a friendly chat? This is not the way we should be running our fourth estate. If our opposition is not in a position to directly challenge and hold our government to account, then the media must. And the media is being as subverted as any other institution in this country at the moment. That is the problem. That's the problem. We're in a sort of chaos area because we have lost. We've lost our principles. We've lost not only the ethical advisor, we've lost our ethical standpoint.